Hey guys, Dennis here. Hope you're doing well. Just got back to the channel. It's been quite some time since I've done a video. A lot going on, a lot of other things to focus on, and coming full circle, experiencing life, getting ideas, topics to talk about, and every once in a while I take some time back up, just soak up some experiences, have more to talk about, and just bring a different perspective to some of the videos. But in this video, I want to talk about a really interesting topic. It's pretty much in line with a lot of what's going on nowadays. And the topic of the video is pretty simple. There are three types of people in this world, right? We'll just jump right into it. Three types of people in this world. There are those that are intelligent, there are those that are ignorant, and then there are those that are stupid. The three types of people in the world. Intelligent people have a couple common characteristics or character traits. One, you are experienced in at least some areas, right? You have a certain level of self-awareness, wisdom, knowledge, common sense, and understanding. You also possess the ability to know that you don't know everything, no one knows everything, and you understand where your areas of disadvantages are, right? You know that you know things up to a certain extent, and you don't know everything. And that intelligent person is aware enough to understand when they don't know something, when not to fight a particular argument or try to have an argument without knowing, and that they may need to research or find information or reach out to others that know more than them in a specific area to find out more. But an intelligent person ultimately has the self-awareness to know when they don't know something. And that is very, very important. So intelligence isn't just knowing everything or knowing everything about a particular topic. It is also fundamentally understanding when you don't know something and understanding that the pursuit of the knowledge and the wisdom and the information, the facts, the truth is important. And that you may not be the person that has the information and you may need to reach out to someone else that does. That is a fundamental character trait I believe an intelligent person has. They also understand the value of information, knowledge, wisdom, experience, and what that does for them in life, and that they understand that that is the difference between them having what they want and not having what they want. Plain and simple. Now, everyone is ignorant in some area of their life, probably many areas. No one knows everything. There are a lot of things we don't know or don't know well, and everyone at some level is ignorant about some topic, period. Now, it's okay to be ignorant because that is the nature of things. You cannot know everything. Everyone is ignorant in some area, and it's okay to be ignorant. But what's important for an ignorant person to understand is when they are also ignorant. An ignorant person should also know when it is time to look for more information. They should understand that knowledge is power, and the difference between them being where they want to be and being where they are is information. So being ignorant is not necessarily a bad thing. You just don't want to stay there forever. And you need to have an idea of what areas you really don't want to be ignorant in that affect you and pertain to you now and possibly forever. Now there's a third category that I mentioned, and that's people that are stupid. Now this is an interesting, and I don't say that kind of as an insult per se for people that I think actually fall in that category, because we've all known very, 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 very stupid people. I said to say this is a category of people that doesn't understand the value of information, but here's what makes them really stupid. They know they don't know what they're talking about, or they won't admit it to themselves, but they know they don't know what they're talking about, but they act like they do. They believe more than they know. So this is where the problem comes when you're a stupid person. Your brain, this is where I find like these kinds of people are really, really hard to deal with. And I typically don't deal with stupid people, honestly. A stupid person's brain, I think, is wired differently in some sense. I don't know if it's a character trait, if it's a mental illness or what. But fundamentally, a stupid person believes they know everything or everything about a topic, and simultaneously knowing very little or nothing about a topic will argue with people that do know about these areas, whatever the subject may be. But here's where it hurts these people the most, and without them realizing it. Their brain cannot accept new information. When you're a stupid person, you're not just ignorant and you don't know something. Because you believe that you know something, your brain shuts down and no longer accepts new information. That's what makes you stupid and keeps you stupid. That right there is I believe, a character trait of a stupid person. It's not ignorance anymore. They don't think they need to find out any new information. They already know it. But I think there's another branch to that I think is part of a character trait of what I would call a stupid person. And that's belief. Everyone believes in things that may or may not be true in their life. We may or may not have, experiences. We believe in a higher power when you necessarily may not have ever seen this higher power if you're a spiritual person or whatnot. We believe in different things that aren't necessarily true. And each of us do to a certain extent, and it affects us differently at different levels of intensity, if you will, in life. But the stupid person not only believes things that are not true, they close their mind to any new information that would allow them to move forward. And that's the difference between these three people. An intelligent person knows, hey, I know some things. I know the value of knowledge and wisdom and experience. I'm willing to pursue information. I'm willing to pay others for their information they already know. And I understand that information is what's going to get me to where I want, period. An ignorant person understands some of those things, but they too kind of fall into some of the realms of belief. It's easier to manipulate and influence an ignorant person because they don't know what they don't know. They haven't really understood the value of information. And so they kind of give that power to other people to influence them because they don't know any better. It's like a child. You know a child is ignorant in many ways. You don't expect them to know as much as you do as the adult. But you hope that eventually they will grow up and realize the value of information, and then for them to pursue and learn things on their own. Now, stupid people don't have that ability to understand how much they're actually a disservice to themselves. And you don't want to be a stupid person. Like I said, you can be ignorant about things, we all are, as long as you understand the value of knowledge. So this is what has helped me significantly. This is where I think we could solve a lot of the world's problems realistically. Right now, we're in a state of affairs in the world where, between the cancel culture and the divisiveness and all that stuff, it's difficult for knowledgeable people to have conversations or put their opinions out there and theories without some sort of negativity from people that are actually not intelligent themselves. Because an intelligent person would want open conversation to find out the truth about things. Here's what I find is the most important thing in the world. Truth. That's it. That's the difference between wanting to feel right and being right. That's it. Some people want to feel right. Others want to be right. As long as you have the facts and the truth, it doesn't matter how you feel. Right? The same way it doesn't matter how someone who's wrong feels. Something is still wrong. Like, facts don't change because you feel a certain way about them. If the sky is blue, it's blue. Regardless of what you think or feel, if it's blue, it's blue. If water is wet, it's wet. whether you're here on another planet or you believe in this God or this political party, that political party, doesn't matter. Water is wet, right? Because each thing has its own inherent properties. That's the fine line between ignorance and stupidity. That belief in something without knowing and also closing your mind to new information that will make you more intelligent. If we lived in a place where everyone put everything aside and said, you know what? I'm going to come into this situation completely open, without the weight of past garbage weighing me down and limiting me to find out what I need to know, right? What I want to know is the truth. What are the facts? What is the evidence? Period. Period. On anything. On anything. That would allow society to be able to open up and have dialogue that's constructive and progresses humanity forward, right? Even if it's not at this collective level of humanity globally, you could still experience some of those benefits at the individual level in your own life. So if you come into a situation you know nothing about, you come with as an open book, an empty cup, and say, listen, I don't know anything about this, but I want to know as much as possible. And I'm going to learn from the people that know more than I do. Not necessarily that they're automatically right, because people are not always right, even if they mean well, or believe that they're right, or think they're right, or experienced. But they are at an advantage. They have an advantage over you because they have some sort of experience and background in a certain area. So you come into an area and say, I don't know anything. You admit to yourself, I don't know much. But I know the value of the information. I want to learn the information. I'm going to learn it from the best sources, the fastest way possible. And I'm going to take this information, parse through it, see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, formulate my own theories around it, and then look for the information to validate or invalidate what I'm hearing and seeing on my own, right? When you can come into a situation empty without, here are the big drawbacks that people run into that I think are just a complete disservice to themselves and the overall conversation. If you can avoid these two things, your state of awareness and enlightenment and your personal development will have reached another level. It's something that's helped me, and it's going to help you significantly in everything that you do in life moving forward. Number one, don't be emotionally attached to an idea or an outcome or belief. And two, don't be egotistically attached to an idea or some sort of outcome going into something that you don't know anything about, right? If you go in thinking you know everything, or you're attached to some old belief or something somebody told you, or something your parents taught you, or you saw on TV, or your friends do, or you heard before, you're doing exactly what the stupid person does, right? They go into something they don't know anything about, believing they know something. That's what you don't want to do. Go in as an open book and say, I don't know I don't know anything here, right? You're open to receiving new information that you don't currently have in your mind, in your brain, to act upon, so that you can change how you move. Sometimes there's things you can't do because you simply don't know how to do them. And there's other things you do, but you do wrong because you think you're doing it right. Separate belief and emotional attachment from knowledge. Belief and emotional attachment, that's a human thing. That's in your brain. That doesn't mean anything in the world at all, but inside your own head. Facts, information, and knowledge is something completely different. It doesn't need your belief. There's no belief required. It doesn't matter what religious belief you have, what your background is, where you're from, what traditions you have, what political party you're from, what your gender is, how old you are, what your parents said. None of that matters when it comes to knowledge. Knowledge and beliefs and ideas and thoughts are two different things. Very, very, very different things. So if you as a person can get to the point where you're not emotionally or egotistically tied to certain outcomes or ideas and beliefs, and you're flexible enough so that you can receive new information from all sources, you are light years ahead of most people. And that's something that's not only a personal development aspect that I think most people can work on, but if that's how it was moving forward, if everyone was like that and say, you know what, I just want to know the truth. Even if it's not something I necessarily agree with or believe in at this point, I just want to know the truth. I want to know the facts. I want to see the evidence. The world would be a completely different place. It would be a better place because we can have conversations that are constructive, that mean something. Everyone would be more aware, more enlightened, more intelligent, and people wouldn't fight each other because of emotional attachment to ideas, right? Typically, when you're emotionally attached to an idea, you don't want to accept anything that challenges or threatens that idea, especially if it's something really important and deep-seated, whether it's religion or something your parents taught you, some tradition or something. I look at everything at the face value. I say, and I question everything. I don't assume anyone is 100% right. I don't assume anything at face value is automatically right. And I use my common sense, and I want to come to conclusions on my own. Even if that's not, if it's something I don't want to hear, or I don't want it to be a certain way, or I don't think it's true, I'm open to being wrong, and that is the key. If you're okay with being wrong, that means you're not egotistically attached to information or ideas or outcomes, and now you can receive new information and be right. What good is it to believe you're right and actually be wrong? It's not good for you at all. It's not good for anyone else. So if you detach from concepts that are like just woven into our brains that don't necessarily serve us, you can change the perspective that you have and be completely light and free and open to everything, right? Some people, that's where the tribal aspect comes in. I think that's where our instinctual inherent behaviors come in, where it actually destroys us as a people and as a country, as a world, where you're so set on something, the other person or other group of people automatically becomes an enemy. Your mind, the ego, has to create an enemy so that you can derive some sort of righteousness and a form of placement in your own mind that you're the right one, you're in good standing, and the other one's automatically the enemy. Even though you don't know anything about them, you never met them before, or whatever the case may be, you automatically make people enemies so that you can carve out some differentiation between you and them. If you're open, you say, you know what? Maybe I'm right, and maybe they're right too. This is something I realized a while ago, and that's that two things can be true simultaneously. And I've never heard this before. Like, you can be right about something, and so can someone else on the same topic. That right there is huge. You can learn from people, even if you don't understand them, and you can learn from other people that know things that you don't know. And if you think you know everything based on your history, or what your parents told you, or what your political party is, or what traditions you have, or what religion you're tied to, you're screwed. That's it. You become part of the problem. Why? Because you're ignorant, or you're stupid, or you just simply you're closed-minded to new information that can make you more intelligent and can advance yourself and others around you. That right there, if you can just go to everything and your main desire is to find out truth, even if it goes against what you've heard or you believe. And that's only easy if you're not emotionally or egotistically attached to outcomes and ideas and beliefs. There's no point in believing in something that's false. It does not serve you at all. In fact, it hurts you tremendously. If you think that 1 + 1 is 3, all of your math equations will be wrong from that point, because you don't fundamentally understand something simple and basic, because you're too attached to something to close your brain to receive new information, right? There's people that, because they're part of some religion, whatever religion it may be, automatically you don't talk to those people from that religion. That's division. That's ignorance. That's tribalism. That's ignorance and stupidity, right? You can learn something and respect what they believe in without feeling like what you believe in is automatically right or superior to what someone else believes in. And maybe two things could be right, and maybe that's not. Maybe that's a touchy subject for some people because they're so. If you're watching this, you may still be attached to certain things. I've talked to plenty of people, and it's personally I think it's very repulsive for like one person to believe what they believe is superior to what another person believes in. Let's just say, hey, maybe there's multiple gods. Maybe. And maybe their God exists and my God exists. Maybe. But if I'm open to that concept and that idea, I'm flexible enough, then we can now have a conversation where they can learn about me and I can learn about them. Right? And then it could, at worst, it could just be neutral and you don't have this division or this superiority complex so that what you believe in is better than what they believe in. They're beneath you and you can't even associate with people like that because they're not from your group. That's tribalism. That is the problem with the world. And that's so bare bones fundamental that it's like it requires no enlightenment at all for you to be there because that's where you are by default. Tribalism. I am this, these are my people, these are my group, and if you're outside, you're automatic threat and enemy. I've learned that it is not intelligent to make enemies out of strangers. Why would you? Not that you necessarily have to trust somebody because you don't know them, but don't make them an enemy. That person may be an asset to you. You may be able to help them. Maybe they can help you in some manner. But if you come from the tribal aspect, you've already blocked that, right? The same way as if you come into a situation, you think you know everything and what you believe is right just because your people said it, and you're attached to this cult mentality. Well, now you're screwed because you stay stupid and ignorant. And they may know the information, and now you block that from yourself. Here's the thing. Intelligent people stay away from stupid people. They may interact with ignorant people and be cool with affiliating themselves here and there and imparting some information. But they stay away from stupid people because they realize nothing I tell them is going to help them because they don't want to know anything. They think they know it already. And they don't need to argue with somebody that thinks they know everything. There's no benefit in it for them. They already know that kind of person. And me personally, I wouldn't talk to a stupid person either. I talk to someone who might be ignorant in some aspect, whatever the subject may be, but not a stupid person, period. That's important too, because a stupid person actually repels the information they need from other people because those people don't associate with them. And that's a key there. If you're open and willing and flexible to receive new information, you are more enlightened, you're further along in your personal development journey, you will accomplish a lot more because you'll be more intelligent. The difference between ignorance and intelligence is information. That's it. Information. Everything you want in this world comes with information, assuming you have some sort of work ethic where you're going to put action behind whatever it is, the actions and the goals that you have. The difference between ignorance and intelligence is information. That's it. And there's two types of information. Accurate information and inaccurate information. Period. So with that being said, what I could advise, if you're watching this video, is again, go into situations open. Even if you think you know a lot about something, go into in a situation open, ready to receive new information, and maybe it's what you already know. Or maybe you learn a little bit and you can add that to what you know. Or maybe you can see what you do know in a different perspective that gives you some idea that you didn't have before. Worst case scenario, you already knew what the information was. Best case scenario, you learned something new. And you can't learn anything if you block avenues from which that information will come to you. And sometimes information comes to you from avenues you would have never ever thought, right? And at times you weren't even expecting. But if you're open and you're willing to learn and have your beliefs challenged a little bit, you can accept new information. You can move further on in life in your personal development journey because, again, you're not attached to a particular belief, right? I believe I know some things. I also am aware enough to know that I believe certain things that aren't fully in my experience, like most people, but I'm okay with being wrong. And I'm okay with hearing someone else's aspect on that particular thing because we may just be right simultaneously. or they may impart some information, or I may impart some information on them that might change their perspective. But there's no negative aspect to two aware, intelligent people communicating and having productive dialogue. But there is a lot of a negative side if you're ignorant or you're stupid and you block all the accurate information from coming in that can move you forward. Right? The biggest hindrance to you progressing in anything in life is believing you know something and it being absolutely wrong. That's literally it right there. You either don't know anything, or what you know or you think you know is actually wrong, and you make all your decisions based on that wrong information. So you as a person, again, just not be emotionally or egotistically attached to ideas or outcomes and beliefs, so much so that you block information and you don't allow new information into your brain, and just be open enough to receive new content, new knowledge, new intel, new wisdom that you can parse and integrate into what you know and put the puzzle pieces together so you can have a greater puzzle and understand. Just be an open vessel. You're here on this planet to learn and to teach. That's it. You can't learn if you think you know everything. And that is the message that I want to convey in this video. Don't be attached to anything. People, materials, concepts, anything. Just be willing, be as like a watcher. You're just soaking up information like a child and formulating concepts and theories in your head that you kind of go out and try to test and see if it's real and if you can confirm it in your own life. But don't believe in things blindly. Don't accept things at face value, and be open to new information. But with that said, I hope you guys got something out of that. I think that was super, really important topic that I think everyone could get something out of, because that's where I think people are missing it, individually and collectively. If we're all open to new information, we wouldn't be so divided, because we wouldn't be so attached to specific things that other people are automatically threats, right? You start seeing people as assets rather than enemies. So that's a big one. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. I always make an effort to write back to comments as soon as possible. But I hope you guys got something out of that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.